Alright, so let's start us off. Give us the intro.
All right. Let's do it. Okay, so welcome. What are we naming this again?
Yeah, we probably should have thought about that, shouldn't we?
Yeah. I don't know. It's welcome to the random philosophy of the day, week, time frame.
Name it after our roles.
All right, yeah, sure. Yeah, welcome
We're gonna name it Philosotards.
Are we going to name it Philosotards? The Philosotards. Yeah, sure. Why not? That's the name. Welcome to the Philosotards, episode 1, where this is the pilot episode. You know, we might change it on the actual series. Who knows? Ooh, keep on watching to find out.
I won't be here the next time, probably.
Oh, you probably will. We love you, Ozzy. Anyways, none of us have any sort of background in philosophy. I studied philosophy.
You are a great host. You do great in
Shut up! This is my show. This is my show. How dare you? No, but yeah, none of us have any sort of background in philosophy. I think. I studied it as a hobby and mostly for fun during high school, aside from obligatory school stuff. I assume it's the same for you guys?
I've never looked into philosophy on my own time, ever.
Is Oscar in high school?
I think he is. You're 15, right?
This is gonna be uploaded to, everyone. I don't feel comfortable disclosing that
information. Okay, we will cut that part.
I don't think you're nice.
We will cut that. I don't think millions of people are going to see that, but yeah, okay.
No.
Anyways,
how do you know?
Brazilian people are gonna know how old Oscar is.
We will be an overnight success. But yeah, none of us know shit, but we're mostly doing this for fun and talking out of our asses, mostly as a hobby thing or whatever. No, but okay. I am with Bacon in another podcast, and that is I am cool. That is
okay. So I'm gonna explain a couple things, because Solar. I don't think I'll do a good job as Solar because Solar is the host and he does great intros, as you can already see.
Shut up! It's my show.
So we are the three Philosotards who it started out with me and Solar. And we argued about fucking dumb philosophy shit, and we thought it was pretty interesting. And then Oscar's here as well because he's really cool. Say hi, Oscar.
Hi.
See, look how cool he is, and you will not know his age. So to start off, I'm not the gracious host, that's Solar, but I'm the secondary host, Sai. Hello.
Oh, God.
That's it, Solar. Say hello.
I just said, okay.
Exactly.
Hi.
Now, to begin with things, we will begin by stating what our general stance on philosophy is, and who is our favorite philosopher. Solar, you're the host. You go first.
Okay. I think philosophy is the basis of all science, and in a sense, fucking. Life itself is more than a biological process, and I think my favorite philosopher is either Nietzsche or the guy from Existentialism. I forgot his name now, but yeah, that guy.
Oscar, you go.
Philosophy isn't really necessary, but it's fun to think about, and I liked listening to Sai and Solo yell about the boat one time.
My take on philosophy is it's somewhat of an interesting subject. However, philosophy I don't think it's really needed, and I think a lot of quote unquote philosophers today are kind of sniffing their own farts, and so I think philosophy fucking sucks. And if you do philosophy yourself, you should probably get a job. My favorite philosopher is Max Stirner. He was pretty epic based.
Oh, okay. Did you just ask us who our favorite philosopher was just so you could do an edgy joke?
Where's the funny, Solar? Where's the funny edgy joke?
Okay.
It's a great way to introduce ourselves to this podcast by saying what our philosophical God, I fucking hate the word philosophy. What our stances are, and should we say what general school of thought we subscribe to as well, or what we find most interesting?
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I find myself mostly agreeing with active nihilism and general most many stances on metaphysics in general or stuff I tend to agree with, I guess.
Yeah.
It's kind of complicated to just say a single school of thought that.
Yeah. Note for the podcast, the dynamic is Solar, despite saying he's not that experienced, is the most experienced one talking about philosophy on the podcast. I'd say I'm second. But maybe I'm wrong on that as well. I think I agree with nihilism, but not the edgy version of nihilism that goes with punk rock, that they want to wear gray and die. I like doing whatever I want, and I don't really care.
I specified active nihilism because
but I don't know what that is, so I don't think I care enough right now.
Oh, okay. Ozzy, would you like to?
No.
No.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the way we thought about doing this was there's this really good weekly webcomic that I follow that's called Existential Comics. I'll link to it in the description. I thought that it would be fun for us to go through random comics from it and do a dramatic reading of them. And then discuss the ideas showcased in it and our stance on it, and repeat this until to have some fun. Okay, with that explained,
with the intro out of the way, I can finally open my podcast drink. Shout out to Earn Brew. Other sodas are available.
No. Stop.
Oh yeah, Solar is a staunch anti-capitalist. That's also part of his economic philosophy.
I'm not a staunch anti-capitalist, but I am definitely against capitalism, yeah.
Oh, cringe. Anyways,
okay.
I'm very capitalist. I love capitalism.
Here's the first comic we're doing. Who do you guys want to be? I want to be Kierkegaard.
Does it say their names? Because I can't be bothered.
Kierkegaard's the blonde guy. The guy with glasses is Sartre, and the guy in the couch is a rando normie. Okay, I'll be Kierkegaard, you'll be Sartre, and Ozzy will be the guy in the couch.
I forgot their names already. Am I blonde?
No, you're the guy with the glasses.
Okay, I'm the glasses
okay.
one.
Yes, okay, let's do this.
Okay.
Alright, knock knock. Hello, can we take a moment of your time to talk about the profound despair that haunts the core of the human condition?
Oh, sorry, I don't really believe in that sort of thing.
Sure, but do you ever feel an aimless anxiety about the weight of your choices in a short, meaningless life?
Well, to be honest, sometimes.
You see, through the teachings of existentialism, we can help you. You'll never have to feel that way again.
Wait, did you say never have to not feel that way?
Oh yeah, he did. I read that wrong. Okay, the more you understand
that was kind of the
your...
point, though.
Yeah. The more you understand about it is kind of the point. The more you understand about your existence, the more despair you will feel, but the more you will become fully human. Take a look at some of our pamphlets. Life is meaningless and then you die. Are you feeling anxiety over the finite nature of life? You probably should be, like way more than you even think. Tons, all the time. You are going to die, and there is nothing you can do to escape it. And there is no escaping it. Something I can't read the word because Kierkegaard is covering it with his fucking finger. In the meantime, and in caring something, there is probably no meaning to your suffering.
Have you ever considered that with every choice you make, you destroy every other possible life that you might have led? Every time you decide to distract yourself with fleeting pleasure, you're deciding to not live a life where you pursue authentic goals. If you choose to sit around and watch TV, you're also making a negative choice. You're choosing not to do anything else. The life where you learn to cook, or write a novel, or travel the world are forever gone. You destroy those lives each moment you choose not to live with them. And you alone bear the terrible responsibility for every choice. It is you who have closed off those lives.
Understanding the weight of your freedom will inspire you in a terrible existential anxiety.
What was I thinking?
That sounds terrible. But to live an authentic life, you must not flee the anxiety with petty distractions.
You must embrace it fully in order to act in pure freedom.
But I don't want to feel anxiety all the time.
But you do want to become yourself, right?
Aren't I myself already?
The awareness of freedom is the process by which we come to realize our potential. Without despair, we will never become a full self.
Anyway, think it over. If you decide to pursue a genuine and authentic existence, even though any such pursuit is ultimately in vain, give us a call.
Whatever. Time to watch Kick-Ass here.
Then he watched, and then he proceeded to watch angry video game nerd videos until he fell asleep. The end. Okay, yeah. General thoughts on the comic.
Well, I seem to, I really agree with the Gray character, even though I would say in more of a philosophy sense, what the other two characters say is true. You should, do things instead of being a fucking lazy asshole. However, the fact that they come to his door and barge into his house when he's trying to watch The Nostalgia Critic has me more agreeing with the Gray shirt character, because I don't like people who talk about philosophy, and so instead of bettering myself in a philosophical way or whatever, I decide to be real about things and say, "Get out of my house! You guys are losers. Bye." And so,
No, okay. Well, I think that I tend to agree with the gray shirt guy. I think the point of the comic is to point out like how silly existentialism is in that sense, but like how just having an awareness that the fact that life is ultimately meaningless doesn't really change anything. And I think that the line that kind of struck with me is the like when when Sartre talks to him and says, "But you do want to become yourself, right?" And he says, "But aren't I already myself?" Which is like, I think it's kind of the point, like that. It's the ultimate goal of existentialism, that just the fact that you the idea that some form of existence is more valid than another one, because like the thing that Sartre points out is that every time you do some meaningless pursuit like watching TV, you are ultimately destroying many possible futures where you're doing something productive and something more authentic to yourself, which I don't think it's a good way to look at it, because I think ultimately you are at the same time, by deciding to do some meaningless pursuit that gives you momentary happiness, you are also being authentic to yourself in some way. Ozzy, do you? Yeah, sorry.
I think you have to be a real twat to knock on people's doors and force your beliefs upon them. What asshat.
That is satirical, yes, but yeah, okay. Is that your takeaway from the comic?
I kind of agree with Gray fat ass person. Who cares about thinking, damn, I am wasting my life by not doing awesome things? Just sit down and watch Nostalgia Critic.
oh, I do that all the time. But I also call myself a faggot and then wasting my life anyway, just to spite. Spite me thinking that.
Yeah, like I think the main idea from it is the concept of authenticity to yourself and being the best version of yourself you can be, which is the core of existentialism, I guess. But I think that like the whole like existential dread part of it is like I don't know why I mentioned the existential dread part. Sorry, but like I think that the whole idea of you are not being your best self, you should be doing something else, is not necessarily a good thought in that sense, because I think it is a form of authenticity to the self to do whatever the fuck makes you happy in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. what was brought up by the comic is that at the end, whenever they're leaving, they also said that it's all in vain. No, what I assume they mean by that is, you die in the end, so it's in vain, so it doesn't really matter, right? What I would like to talk to you guys about is like, what do you guys think about that?
Craig's so okay. Okay.
Dude, Craig is so fucked.
He is so fucked. All right. What were you saying, Bacon? Before
if you're an edgy nihilist, kill yourself. I'm not gonna repeat my whole statement because Craig, our recording bot, is on the fritz.
Yeah, I think we have your complete statement, anyways. But yeah, I agree. I think passive nihilism is a terrible approach, but I think it's an important phase to take before you can embrace the positive aspect of active nihilism, I think. Yeah.
I do want to see what points someone who doesn't believe in passive whatever nihilism,
active nihilism
will bring up. Because
hey, viewer, if you disagree, leave a comment telling us
R1 viewer, if you happen to disagree with any of the points brought here.
Yeah, please tell us about it in the comments below, and we will talk about it in the next episode. Ooh, yay! Okay, yeah. Should we do another comic then?
Yeah, bring on the next comic.
All right. Okay, next up we have this. Okay. All right. Let's see. This one has how many characters? Okay, it has 3 characters. Okay, yeah, we can all do it.
I'll be green. I'll be the green guy.
Okay, I'll be the red guy. Ozzy, you're the owl. I don't really know which philosopher this is. This is embarrassing.
It's Nozick, idiot. It says right in the title.
Oh yeah, it is true.
God, you're dumb, aren't you?
I didn't read the title. Anyways.
Oh my god, you're just picking comics at random, aren't you?
I am. I literally am. Okay.
Didn't we already establish that would be what we did?
I don't know. I thought Solar would pick out comics that he thought were oh, this looks interesting, or this brings up a cool topic.
I literally said that I am clicking the random button.
Wow.
I think that it's more fun because it has a higher chance of we coming across something we can have an interesting discussion about. But yeah, I don't know the Mr. Rogers theme, so I don't know how to parody the song, but I'll try. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood where no one is forced to give to the greater good.
Oh, I like this.
Each neighbor lives autonomously. That way everyone is happy and free. I've always wanted to have a neighbor just like yourself, who understands that each of his neighbors owns himself. So won't you be yours? So won't I be mine? So won't you be my self-governing neighbor? Why, hello there, neighbor. Welcome to Mr. Nozick's neighborhood. Oh, look, here comes the trolley. Hi, Mr. Owl. Isn't it a wonderful day today?
Not really, Mr. Nozick. You see, Cornflake S. period Peshly owns the only trolley from the neighborhood of Make-Believe, and he keeps raising the fare. He is getting fantastically rich and charging more for rides while everyone else lives in poverty. It just doesn't seem fair.
Well, you see, Mr. Owl, Cornflake got that money through the free decisions of the citizens of Make-Believe. If we were to deny him that money, we would be paying the citizens. We would be denying the citizens the choice of paying for his trolley rides.
But wouldn't it be better for King Friday to just tax everyone and build a transportation system that we could all use for free?
Well, you see, Mr. Owl, taxation for public projects is part-time slavery, since a worker's labor is given in the form of wages. Taking a portion of the wages is effectively forcing the worker to work for the state part-time.
Yes, but wouldn't that be good there?
Slavery is always immoral, Mr. Owl, even if it results in an easier life. Would you be okay with King Friday owning slaves and having them build the trolleys?
No. Well, I have to get back. I need to work a double shift to meet my rent.
That's a free decision on your part, Mr. Owl. Oh, look, here comes another one of my neighbors, Mr. John Rawls. Hello, Mr. Rawls. What brings you here today?
I just came by to say, fuck yourself, Nozick. Your stupid ideas lead to wage slavery and the exploitation of the poorest members of the neighborhood.
In a free society, everyone can express their opinions. Make sure to join us next week as we discover why King Friday's proposal to enact a minimum wage law is authoritarian because it denies two consenting adults the ability to come to a mutually agreed upon contract. This program has been brought to you by Private Broadcasting Network. Oh wow!
I have
Then
some
there's
opinions
like
about this one.
yeah, there's a quick like about in beneath the thing. I think I'll read through it real quick. Robert Nozick was a 20th century American philosopher, best known for his book Anarchy, State, and Utopia, which defends a libertarian political view. He believed the only legitimate purpose of the state were police, judges, and national defense. Okay, he's better than NCAPs already, I guess. He was largely working off John Rawls's work, A Theory of Justice, which defended social libertarianism. Rawls and Nozick were both professors at Harvard at the same time. To find out more about Nozick and how he justified his minimal state, you can read the Stanford Encyclopedia article. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was an iconic American children's television that aired on PBS from '68 to 2001.
Yes, we know about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
I don't have Brazilian!
Read the entire Wikipedia article for Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
Yeah, click on the link.
Okay, Bacon, you said you had some opinions on this.
Oh, yeah. First, to start off, there's only one trolley system, implying that they have a monopoly on there. Right?
Yeah.
Which is already going against what should be basic libertarian ideology, because monopolies just aren't good, and only if you're like an idiot would you say, oh, I love capitalism, but I also love monopolies. That's you gotta be a special type of genius. So they're already using they're already implying that there's going to be monopolies in this state, and so they already make a problem to bring up.
I guess, yeah, that is a fair criticism.
And also the second thing, whenever he starts talking about how it's slavery because a part of the wages means that you're working for the state, I really hate thinking about money in like a mutualist sense, or a I forgot what that other thing is called, but it's like, sure, time is money, but if you make it more complicated than that, then I stop caring. Money is money, and that doesn't mean you're working for anyone else because you give a part of your money. Just stop overcomplicating things.
Stop saying that. So you think taxation isn't slavery in that sense?
Well, because taxation, I feel like for basic services, like I don't know how much. I don't know about a trolley system, because in our modern day, trolleys. Who uses a trolley? Britain. Britain's the bad country.
Okay, well, let's say it's make believe land. That they don't have subways there. Yeah, okay. But yeah, for like a public transportation system, network of like trains and subways and shit.
I feel like if you're getting on a train is owned by the government. I feel like I feel like a normal thing to do, instead of just taxing everyone, just like take $5 for people who want to use the train, right? Because if the train is really a necessity, then, and if the government owns the train, just like have a standard fare that should be voted upon by, people voting in the government, by what the fare is.
Well, I mean, I guess like the idea of a minimal state is, I don't know. I think my issue with it is like, well, what he pointed out, like the fact that everyone is fucking suffering except for the proletariat and like the people in power, like the guy with the train. Because like even the owl points out by like saying, "Well, okay, I guess I'm gonna go back to working a double shift so I can pay my fucking rent." Which is like, yeah, you end up creating a quality of life that's objectively inferior for everyone who is not in power and benefiting from the system. Which I think it's the fucked up part about it. And I don't think it can lead to a stable society if that's an issue. I think it's my point. Ozzy, do you have any thoughts on the comic?
I liked when the one guy came in and insulted the other guy. That was funny, I think. I don't like the way the person draws. It looks weird.
That almost, whenever the guy comes in, it almost reminds me of like those feminist comics where the guy or some guy does like something inherently bad, like I don't know, he kills some woman, and then it's like, I am the comic protagonist, and I'm here to say you're wrong, and then he flies off in the sunset.
Editor, can we get an example of that on screen right now, please?
I don't know, maybe. I'm the editor, by the way, for this.
He is. Fucking. I don't know. I think at least it's less of a utopian dumb concept than anarcho-capitalism because at least like the article below said, he still defended the existence of a state and taxation for like stuff that you can't really have, that is like needed for society to operate as we know it, like the police, justice system, national defense, etc. But like that, he still believed that the state should be reduced to just those purposes.
I also think that in the end, we do really need some form of governance as well. And I think the only good example of when there is no governance is BioShock. And you say whatever you want. Say that in BioShock they all ended up dead, but I don't care. BioShock looks really cool, and so I'll stand by it wholeheartedly forever.
Do you think that because they lived underwater, or do you think that because you like anarcho-capitalism?
Mainly the fact that they lived underwater, but like due to that only happening, George Ryan, not Ryan Euler. God, what was his name?
Andrew Ryan.
Because Andrew Ryan, he said he had to make this. He could only do it due to anarcho-capitalism. I kind of stand by anarcho-capitalism because BioShock's really cool.
Oh, okay.
And so, Oscar, what is your take on the necessity of a state, possible necessity of a state for a good society?
Let me answer that first because I have my answer fresh in my mind.
You're just gonna take up Oscar's spot. I see how it is.
No, I'm sorry, Ozzy. Please go on. I don't want to offend you.
I feel like if there's no government, things would be bad.
That is a fair assertion, yeah. I think that I believe in a utopism where we no longer need state, and I think that can be accomplished without resorting to tyranny and totalitarianism like socialism proposes. But I think realistically it's difficult for us to achieve that in any way that is plausible.
I feel like in the end,
I think the ideal would be to have a state that slowly shapes a society so it no longer needs a state. Something that is really difficult to achieve, considering that the state actively benefits itself from existing. So we would need to restructure society a lot to be able to achieve that.
Oh, sorry, Sully, you kind of cut out for me. You're done talking, right?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. I feel like in the end, everyone is technically a utopist, even though everyone's versions of what they think are.
Yeah.
But all the years in the future, what mainly people get hung up on where all the arguments happen is how do we get there? Like we agree on a lot of things, or we have. I think we should focus on what everyone else focuses on and what our utopias like.
probably.
I agree with some of that stuff, if not most of it. I do agree that that we should come together as a global government. Even though there's all those people talking about how globalism is really bad and evil, something Zionist lizard people or whatever. But I do think we shouldn't try to come together all at once, because of course. Obviously systems are going to fail, like systems have always failed, and so I think we should set up different systems of government in like multiple areas and see which one works the best, because a lot of the problems I see isn't just from how things are run in the systems, but a lot of problems are caused by people themselves, and people are really dumb, right? But there's really not much you can do about people's personal opinions unless you live in a totalitarian nightmare. But I kind of don't want to live in one of those, unless I'm the leader, obviously, so I can reshape society in my image. Right.
I mean,
there's not much you can do about people being really dumb and having the wrong opinions.
That is true, yeah. Like, the thing is, I think most of the people who complain about globalism is mostly due to globalism nowadays being synonymous to, like, a cultural overtake by American culture. Which I think is something that can be worked around with careful planning and shit. So like culture isn't overridden by the existence of the US, I think. But I think the bigger problem with that, and especially the thing is what you said, most of the issue comes from people, when like I think the cultural differences between the various different areas as we try to decide on what system is better for that state of humanity would be the fact that like geopolitical, like not geopolitical, but like cultural differences between the area, I think will naturally make people gravitate more towards something than another. And I think it will take a really long time by dialoguing and fucking conversation and general like cultural melting pot-ish stuff so that like people can come to an agreement for stuff like that, you know?
I don't understand. I don't understand it at all. I don't know the need for culture in modern society.
I mean, it's because it's something so arbitrary. What is culture, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of complicated. I don't think we can just say culture is needless, because like culture is something so difficult to define, but like at the same time I do understand why people feel attached, especially people from like cultures that are slowly being exterminated or overridden, why they have an attachment to that sentiment of belonging to a certain culture.
So what do you think?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you can go ahead.
Yeah, no, sorry. No, I was just gonna say that like I think I kind of understand why people have that sentiment of attachment, and I think it's something that, like, as long as we have museums and celebrations for that, and we acknowledge the fact that that culture exists, and we respect it in whatever way that doesn't stand in, like, the way of progress as a whole, I think that there isn't a problem, you know? But yeah, go ahead.
I was going to ask, what do you think about cultural appropriation?
Before I answer that, Ozzy, did you want to say something? I'm sorry, I think I saw you trying to talk, and I think I talked over you.
No, that didn't happen. I'm just listening because I don't have opinions.
Oh, okay. Like, cultural appropriation, I think it's dangerous to... So, like... I think there's, like, something that should be ridicularized about, like, I don't know, a fucking... white guy who walks around talking in Ebonics and fucking wearing cornrows and fucking saying African salutations to people he sees on the street, you know? But at the same time, if it's done in a way, and by harmful I mean like the thing I is American culture overtaking and occupying the space that another isn't an issue, but that it's a subject that should be breached carefully. I think it's my take on it.
I almost like recycling, right? Or discussing, using it more. And the thing you brought up about, the white guy being cringe, I feel like I think that is a very individual issue that can't really be applied to a whole collective of people interacting with culture.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. I think the problem with cultural appropriation, when it's discussed in like an academic level, I think the issue that is mostly brought up is that the culture isn't being discussed and celebrated, like you said. It's mostly like being accessorized, like Indian headbands on Halloween. Like people looking at that don't know what that signifies, and it just becomes haha. Oh, it's an Indian. I get it. Haha, yeah.
But the thing is also, I don't view culture as a inherently like thing that needs to be protected because I don't really care and I don't really see the need for what is culture in our modern era. It's like nature, how people will say, well, I mean, obviously nature should be protected because it includes benefits for us.
Because otherwise we all
but I'm talking about the way like hippies see nature, and it's like, oh, it's Mother Earth, and you're desecrating her, and it's like, dude, it's a tree. Like you value it so much that you give it this like human form, and it's like, oh, this should be protected because of the significance of it. And it's like, no, it should be protected because we needed to survive, and that is the real reason, not because of your like. And the same thing with culture. I don't see culture as like some great thing that needs to be protected because it means a lot of things to a lot of people. I don't really care culture. I don't care that you wear special types of headbands. It's the 21st century. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally, like, on an individual level, I agree. I don't personally see, but I think I can only say that due to being from the culture that is predominant in my society, But
yeah, we need to get a minority on this podcast.
Yeah, that is true. But like,
oh my god, the way I said that sounded cringe. Like I'm meeting like some sort of minority quota. Oh no.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I think it would be interesting to hear about that from someone who has a different perspective, though. But like,
viewer in the comments, type in what type of minority you would like to see on the podcast.
Yeah, please do. But yeah, the fucking the like, I think what mostly my fucking issue is with what you said is that I think there should still be like an effort to preserve that, in the sense of like, if only so we respect the people, because otherwise it's difficult to make a unified like group of people when you when they are unhappy with what you are doing with their way of life, And I think that would mostly stand in the way of progress than actually creating progress.
How much is too much? I would ask, and it might be another individualist thing where it depends on the person. But like, how much cultural appropriation would it be until it affects their way of life? Because kids, excuse me, God, wearing silly Indian headbands on Halloween, I don't think that is really going to affect some Native American, like 2 states away, living on a reservation or whatever. I don't think that's some kid wearing headband is going to affect him that much.
On that level, I agree, but like, I think there's stuff like fucking. I don't know, like the way when you end up creating a culture where like speaking in Ebonics is something that is ridiculous. How do you say that word?
Ridiculous. I also feel like that's another like
ridicularized.
Probably something we should do, where instead of going over it as a whole, we pick up specific things. Speaking in slang that you didn't pick up from being in the place, I feel like that's pretty cringe, and you shouldn't do that. So if you're not from the place where they speak Ebonics and you didn't pick it up regularly because you talk in that area a lot, if you're just some white kid from Jersey and you're speaking in Ebonics, then you're cringe. You're cringe, and that is the type of person who people don't like.
Are you making fun of Wings of Redemption?
Yes.
Oh.
But yeah, like, I don't know. I think that as long as it isn't going to where it isn't so established as an icon in a culture to the point where it overwrites what that actually signifies culturally to some other group of people, and as long as it isn't done in mockery and in a way that ridicularizes it, I don't think there is an issue. Like you said, children wearing Indian headbands for Halloween, I don't think is much of an issue. But like, alternatively, like, fucking 40s era cinema where people wore black faces and made fun of black people was kind of fucked up, you know?
I almost wouldn't even consider that cultural appropriation, to be honest. Wearing blackface in 40 cinema just to call black people dumb.
It isn't per se cultural appropriation, but I feel like it borders on the subject, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of not good.
Yeah.
I agree that blackface is bad.
Thank you, Ozzy.
I don't know if all blackface is bad.
All blackface matters.
Yeah.
You know, blackface matter. What was that movie? Johnny Depp? Was that Johnny? No, it wasn't. Who played Iron Man?
It was. Are you talking about the Predator?
Was that the Predator?
There was a guy in blackface on the Predator. I don't remember whom now.
Who played Tony Stark?
It was. What was his name again?
Something Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, he did blackface in Tropic Thunder. That was it.
Oh yeah, that is true. The Predator.
All blackface matters.
Frank Zappa also did it on Joe's Garage.
Who did blackface on the Predator? Let me see again. No, I can't find it. Damn it. Whatever. Yeah. Oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr. did do blackface in Tropical Thunder. Huh. Interesting.
Tropical Thunder, yeah.
Tropic Thunder, I'm sorry. Anyways, wow, that sure led to a lot of conversation, huh?
Yes.
Should we do another comic?
I don't know. I think this is bordering on near an hour of footage. Should
we already did 1 hour, yeah.
Yeah, should we?
I think that's enough for an episode.
Really?
Okay.
I don't know. Do you want to?
I was gonna say either. I was gonna suggest maybe cutting it off at. Well, you guys don't use my time system, but like either 20 minutes from now, not 20, maybe like 15 minutes from now, or the next time Keith crashes. but the next time Keith crashes, doing that would mean we don't get to do an outro without trying to fix Keith again. Okay. So, what would you guys like?
I think we should like do another comic, try to have a quick discussion, and then call it an episode. I think that would be good enough.
I don't know if we really have enough time for another comic, but I know let's try to do one.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it then. Next comic, random. Okay. It's this one.
I don't know if it would be. Excuse me. Oh my god. I don't know if it would be a good discussion, but I do want to bring up what Kaiser Wilhelm II brought up against Hitler.
What did he bring up?
What?
What did he bring up against Hitler?
He brought up, if I remember the quote correctly, there's a man, referring to Hitler. There's a man, something. He builds legion, but he doesn't build a nation. A nation is built off of he basically says culture. It's brought up of family and traditions, and this, that, and the other thing, or whatever. Yeah. Maybe we can talk about that on another episode.
Yeah, that seems like a fun topic. But yeah, anyways,
this has 4 people.
Yeah, I guess someone will have to voice 2 characters. I want to voice Rousseau.
I'll voice the 2 people I think I find the funniest. I'll voice Hobbes and Machiavelli.
Okay, Ozzy, you're Freud then. All right, let's do it.
Oh, God.
Risk,
okay.
A game of conquest, a game of philosophy. What? Hobbes, why are you attacking? I thought we had a peace.
Peace, you fool. There will be no peace until all the Earth recognizes me as its rightful sovereign. Do you see now, Rousseau? This is the state of nature. Each side constantly in a state of fear and mistrust of his neighbors, always ready to strike up for war at a moment's notice.
What do you think? What do you think this game represents, Hobbes? Native tribes? This fear is brought on by the state warfare. You only show that you are nasty and brutish, and that there was never any doubt.
Don't forget Tiny.
Hobbes, what do you say we take a break from attacking each other for a few turns and turns our armies eastward? Freud is building up quite a force, and if we both engage him for a few turns, we can lower the threat. Oh, sure, I see, Machiavelli. Make me waste my armies on Freud, and then you turn on me. I think not. If we don't do something about it, Freud is going to run away with the game. You want to win, right, Rousseau? What about you? You can attack through Alaska.
See how he tries to turn us against each other?
Oh, I see it.
We are onto your schemes, Prince.
Schemes? Guys, it's something we have to do. We can't let Freud turtle his way to victory in Australia. How come no one will make any kind of deal with me? You guys know the book was satire, right? Sure it was. And that's what you'd want us to think. Meanwhile, you use us as a shield against Freud. Do you think we were born yesterday? I think I'll attack you instead. Fine, then I'm not attacking him either. Your turn, Freud.
Unfortunately for you, the reverse isn't true. Beat 'em and weep, boys. Got 17 new enemies. I'm coming for your codes. But I wasn't paying attention. How's that pronounced?
Machiavelli.
Machiavelli, thank you.
Ah, I told you. You can't just let Australia slowly build armies while you squabble over the big continents. That's it for me. Good luck, idiots. I hope you all enjoy your new kangaroo overlords. He was probably playing the long game, trying to get us all to go for Australia. Next time we play, well, he secures the Americas or something.
Exactly what I was. He thinks he can play us so easily? Huh. He was right about Fry, though. We should have been attacking him.
Oh yeah, we're totally screwed.
Okay, there's a box explaining the thing beneath. Hobbes and Rousseau's dialogue concerns their debate over the state of nature. Hobbes believes that man, in his primitive state, would lead a life that was nasty, brutish, and short. This was because he would be in constant fear of his neighbors with no sense of security. Rousseau disagreed, imagining a more peaceful state where primitive men, lacking the values of modern men, would not fight amongst themselves because they had nothing to fight over. Machiavelli is famous for his book The Prince, which details how a ruler can keep and expand his power, often by taking rather brutal, calculating tactics. It is controversial whether or not the book was intended to satirize such tactics, with most scholars believe that it was not.
There's a link to share this on Reddit.
Yeah, so the latter half of the comment is just a joke about philosophers arguing with Machiavelli. So the real philosophical discussion would be in the first half, where they argue about modern man and whether they would fight or not.
Yeah.
So we can just ignore the latter half of the comic unless you want to laugh and go back and watch it again. Watch it before impressions.
Well, I mean,
what do you think, Solar? What do you think about modern man? Would they fight or no? Primitive man.
Primitive man. I think it's a complicated issue, and I think it's kind of reductive to assume that man would either like fucking kill each other or either be peaceful, because I think it would be kind of both, since there are so many inherent differences between each person. I don't think we can properly categorize man as being naturally good or naturally evil. And as for the second part, I like they fucking making fun of Machiavelli by calling him scheming, and I like the reference where he was like, "The book was satire, you fucking idiots."
Yeah, it was satire. It was satire. The videos were satire. I'm not bullying these kids. It's satire. Yeah, yeah. I think philosophers, whenever they were originally talking about this back in the 17 whatevers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
They're really dumb to reduce human nature to being one thing or the other. Obviously, I do think there was peace between different tribes of people, and I do think there were war. You don't just have to have ideals to war with each other over. Obviously, wars for resource exist, and I'm sure there were war for like you can see it in animals as well, like in the Africas, wildebeests or whatever will fight over like water pools that are left in just the Africa bushlands or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's picking one side or the other like it's a black and white issue. This is why I hate philosophy, and everyone who categorizes themselves as philosophers are really dumb.
Well, I to be fair, I don't think it was Rousseau's intent to, or Hobbes for that matter, to say that like, the natural state of every single man would be one of peace or one of war. But I do think that in the end they end up categorizing like that. Ozzy, do you have any takes on the subject of the nature of man?
No, but I do feel like this comic is a warning that Australia is building multiple armies and plans to take over the entire world.
No. We're gonna let global warming take care of them.
No shit, he's right. Just like Freud in the comment, our lack of attention towards Australia led to our great downfall. Hail the new kangaroo overlords. Oh man.
So, would you like to close out the podcast?
Yeah, I guess. We managed to make this one pretty short. That was nice. Well, this was really fun. I hope one viewer enjoyed it as well. I think this worked out pretty well. I'm looking forward to recording more episodes with you guys. Honestly. I'll also link another podcast which I'm in with my good friend Sai Bacon over here, the Vegan Meat Podcast, where we talk about nothing for 2 hours.
It's more of a comedy podcast.
Yeah, our next episode is going to be about the Nostalgia Critics Kikassia, which has been riffed on multiple times, but when we do it, it's going to be funny. Damn it!
Yeah. Vote in the comments. On any changes you'd like to see to the podcast, like what type of backgrounds would you like to see? Because like I've been interested in like Zen gardens lately, like the sand ones. So I'm probably going to use a lot of like sand Zen garden footage.
Oh, that's a cool aesthetic. Also, yeah, if we would love if you have any thoughts on the subjects we debated today, we would love to hear them.
And Almandoka, if you're probably watching this, you're not getting on the podcast. You're just.
No.
Solar, you know it wouldn't be good.
We can have him as a guest sometime.
Please, no, please.
But yeah, I think that like considering it's all about discussion and philosophy, we would love to hear opposing ideas from the audience or like any sentiments that you feel we should have discussed on any of the subjects we breached. And yeah, I think that's a goodbye for me, Solar.
And never mind if you're watching this, you're older than like 16 or whatever. I'd like to have someone older than 16 on the podcast.
Oh, no.
Because me, Solar, and Oscar, we're all 14 years old.
Yeah, I'm very underage, as you all know.
Yeah, Solar's 14. I'm 13 and a half. Okay. I think Oscar. I think Oscar's 15. If I'm pretty sure he's the oldest one out of all of us.
Yeah, sure.
Yes.
Anyways, yeah, Ozzy, would you like to say goodbye to our lovely audience of Amandoku?
No.
No?
He wanted to take my spot. He wanted to take my spot. I'm mad at him.
That is true. Fuck him. Oh, how dare you, Eamon? How fucking dare you? Anyways, that's it for our episode. Bye.
Everyone say 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye.
You didn't do it on one. You guys suck.
Yes.